Expectations of content creators today are higher than they have ever been. We are expected to show up consistently, be on multiple platforms, engage with your audience, even be a role model to them. And it's no surprise that as these expectations continue to grow and mount, so does the possibility of experiencing burnout. Today, I want to talk about recognizing and moving past burnout while also sharing some strategies to help you find a sustainable way to continue to show up on your social media platforms. If you're new here, I'm a fashion and beauty micro-influencer based in New York City, and I use this channel to help you create great content, grow your digital brand, and earn sustainable income from content creation. So if any of that interests you, please consider subscribing. If you've been watching my videos for a while, you may know that I started creating content in 2012, and while I always treated it somewhat like a business, it really was my creative outlet for about 9 years until April 2021, when I quit my 9-to-5 job to pursue content creation full-time. And I've experienced feelings of burnout on both sides of that, whether it was just when I was creating content a couple of hours a week, and even now still sometimes, as it is my full-time job. When this was something that I was doing on the side, the burnout generally came from overcommitting and taking on too much between my 9-to-5 responsibilities and my content creation side hustle. And now that I am a full-time content creator, occasionally these feelings can stem from the pressure that I feel to prioritize something that is making me money over something that simply brings me joy. And I think you can experience creator burnout whether you are monetizing your content or not. But it's definitely clear to me that now that I do this full-time and 100% of my income comes from content creation, that there are certain pressures and things that I have to think about now and things that I have to prioritize that maybe wouldn't have been as big of a concern to me when this was just a side hustle. So I just wanted to provide some context to let you know that I've experienced it in both of those situations, and it's not fun in either of them. I do have some tips for you about how to balance and establish systems that can help you move past burnout that we're going to get to later in this video. But I think it's important to first start with what to do as soon as you feel that feeling of burnout coming on. So step number 1 to dealing with this burnout is acknowledging that it is happening to you. Maybe you took on one too many brand deals and you think you're juggling too much, or maybe you're at capacity with your 9-to-5 job and can't commit to the content schedule you originally promised your audience. I think that one part of burnout that isn't talked about as often is just the general feeling of disappointment, whether you feel like you're letting yourself down or letting your audience down and you're thinking, I should be able to power through this. Like, this isn't that hard. I sit down and film a video. Like, I should be able to post when I say I'm going to. And when you repeat that story to yourself in your head, I feel like it just furthers the narrative that you're not doing enough, you're not good enough, and that is not the story you want to be telling yourself. I think that actually acknowledging your feelings is something that I have learned a lot more to do over the years now, and I would rather acknowledge a feeling, feel it full on, and let myself deal with it in the moment, whatever those feelings are, rather than try to suppress it and pretend it's not happening. I know it might sound a little silly, but sometimes even just saying it out loud, even if it's to no one, even if you pause this YouTube video right now, say it out loud in your room to no one, that I am feeling burned out. That acknowledgement is really important, just to say that you're in a place, and also remember how you're feeling because you don't want to feel that way in the future. And as a follow-up to that, the second step that I would recommend is to take a break. And if you try to push back with me on that, I will be the first to tell you, I used to be the person who would not take breaks, would never ask for help, and it really didn't serve me in any way. And before you start giving yourself that inner monologue of, but I can't take a break for this reason, this person's depending on me, and so on and so forth, I totally relate. I've been there before, but if you're feeling this way, you have to take a break. Take however long of a rest period you need, and do not worry about publishing any new content to your social media platforms. If you find yourself needing to take a break during a time when you were supposed to have sponsored posts go live, communicate to your brand partners as soon as you possibly can, give them a heads up, and ask for an extension. It is not the end of the world. It might not feel great to do in the moment, but it'll be better than publishing subpar content and being stressed about getting things done when your mental health is not where it needs to be. I would say that unless you're planning to take a break of a month or longer, don't worry about notifying your audience. I feel like whenever I see a creator post an Instagram story that says, "Sorry, I was MIA," I'm always like, oh, you were? I literally didn't notice, but now I know that you didn't post for 2 weeks. We shouldn't have to apologize for taking breaks. We need to start normalizing them as an industry if we want to move forward in a productive way and make this a sustainable long-term career for everybody involved. And you don't owe anyone an explanation, whether this is your full-time job or your side hustle. You are entitled to time off. After you've acknowledged your burnout and taken the time off that you need to, when you're nearing the end of your break and you feel like you're ready to return to content creation, the next thing that I would recommend doing is establishing systems that make content creation a seamless, easy process for you. So in order to evaluate your systems and see if they are the best that they could be, I have a few questions that I recommend you ask yourself. I would ask yourself, is my current posting schedule realistic? Is there one platform or type of content in particular that is causing stress, and is there something I can do to change or modify that? I would ask, do I have a good workflow set up to maximize the times that I am awake, productive, and excited to create content? Do I have the room and financial capabilities to outsource things in my life that are taking up too much time? And for that one, I want to point out, these could be work-related things or life-related things. Some things in your work life that you might consider outsourcing are a virtual assistant to help you clean out your inbox, or a video editor to save you the time that you would have spent editing YouTube videos. And maybe some things in your life that you can outsource are things that get you time back, meaning maybe you're ordering your groceries rather than taking a trip to the grocery store, or maybe you're hiring a housekeeper or maid to come in and clean your apartment on weeks when you simply don't feel like you have the time to do it. In my experience, while outsourcing comes at a monetary cost, sometimes just getting that 1 hour back in your day can make all the difference. And the other thing about outsourcing is pretty much all of these things are totally experimental. You can hire a video editor for a test assignment and see if you like their editing style, or you can do one order of groceries from Amazon Fresh, and if you don't like it, you can find something else that works. So think about how you are establishing, obviously, what's going on in your life, but also the systems that you have in place as a content creator to make sure that you have a workflow that makes sense for you and that you're not overcommitting to produce more content than you are physically able to. One of my favorite ways to create content is to batch create content. And if you'd like to see my entire batching content workflow, I have a whole video about that I will leave a link to down in the description box in case you'd like to watch it later after this video. And once you've done a little audit of the systems that you have in place, the next step I recommend taking is making a plan for the future. If you're not a big planner, I'll try to simplify this as much as I can and encourage you to just at the top of a new week or month or year, whatever time of year you happen to be watching this video, identify what are the top 3 things that need to happen this week in order to move my business forward. This system of prioritizing the big 3 tasks is something I do pretty much every day in my business. If you'd like access to the exact goal setting templates that I use, you can access those in my Patreon membership, which is always linked down below. Once you know what your goals are and what your capacity is, you can work backwards and plan in advance the content that you want to create for any given period of time. If you are a full-time content creator, I highly recommend going into your calendar right after you watch this video and making note of any holidays or days that you know you're going to take off. And one thing that I'd like to start implementing in my business is giving myself one mandatory day off each quarter. As content creators, often we are sharing our life nonstop, which means even if we're on a trip, it's not really a vacation, it's a trip. Maybe we're sharing content on social media or doing photo shoots. And I think it's really important to schedule that intentional time off, because if you don't, who will. Not only that, but it is so important to celebrate all that you've accomplished. I feel like in the really rapid landscape of social media today, we don't give ourselves enough time to celebrate the things that we are doing every single day. So look back at what you've done in your creator business in the last month and pick out one thing to smile about and say, I did that. It could be a small milestone like adding 5 new subscribers to your email newsletter, or it could be a huge milestone like hitting 100,000 YouTube subscribers. Be sure to throw in these celebrations along the way to continue that positive motivation, and remember, the story that you tell yourself is the story you believe. So if you do choose to focus on milestones and good things happening, that will just snowball into more good affirmations and good things coming along to you later on. Don't forget to check out my Patreon for more creator resources I think you'll love, and subscribe and check out the up next recommendations on the screen for more videos from me. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.